morning. Today is September the 4th of 2020. Today is Friday, a beautiful day in the state of Florida. We're doing an interview in Jacksonville, Florida today, and the interview is going to be quite exciting, very, very exciting. We have Mrs. Marshelle Berry, who is going to interview her father. And her father is a special man, very, very special, because he's lived some life stories that we want to hear about today. Mr. Salih Izzaldin, and if I did not say it right, please say it behind me. But anyway, he is 84 years old and has had an opportunity to do many activities during his lifetime. So I am going to turn the interview over to his daughter. But before we do that, we do need to get your name spelled. So Ms. Berry, would you spell your first and last name, please?
Absolutely. I'm Marshelle Berry. My name is spelled M-A-R-S-H-E-L-L-E. Last name Berry, B-E-R-R-Y.
All right. And then would you spell your father's name for us also?
Absolutely. Salih is spelled S-A-L-I-H. Last name Izzaldin, I-Z-Z-A-L-D-I-N.
All right, Mr. Izzaldin. And I am Sherry DuPree, and my name is Sherry DuPree, and it's spelled S-H-E-R-R-Y, DuPree, D-U-P-R-E-E. And I am in Gainesville, and they are in Jacksonville, Florida this morning. So we're going to turn it over to you, Mrs. Berry, and you may start the interview with your father.
Absolutely. Thank you. And it's a pleasure, an honor and a pleasure to be here to sit with my father, who is actually 85 years old.
Oh, I said 84. I'm sorry. When did you have your birthday? I missed it.
Absolutely. So I have the honor and privilege of sitting and interviewing my father, Salih Izzaldin, whose birth name was actually Robert Smith. He changed his name in 1987 to Salih Izzaldin. My father was one of the hundreds of boys who served time in the boys' home in Marianna, Florida. And while he was there, it was called the Florida Industrial School for Boys, but the name was subsequently changed to the Arthur T. Dozier School.
Yes.
As a child, I knew very little about my father's stay in Marianna. And it wasn't until recently, until I learned about the atrocities that took place there. And I asked my dad to share his experiences with me. Our conversations led to my documenting his statements and writing the book that we both shared authorship with, and we called it It Still Hurts. So here we are today to interview my father, who I believe is a very special human being, has quite a few life experiences to share. So I'm ready to get started. So Dad, can you please give us your name, how you grew up, and anything you would like to share about how you got to Dozier and your family? Actually, anything you would like to share would be great. Thank you. Welcome, Dad.
Thank you, Marshelle. I am Salih Izzaldin.
All right.
I was born in Jacksonville. I had a very disturbing childhood as far as being an obedient child. I started out in a home for boys, just a home for boys. And that home it was for three types of children. One was offering. Is that an offering?
Yeah. Orphan.
Orphan home.
The orphan.
Orphan home.
Yes.
A truant. And another group for lying, cheating, and stealing.
Oh.
And I was out there for lying, cheating, and stealing.
Uh-huh.
Some of the parents, and just disobedient children. I mean, just the
Yes.
uncontrollable children. And I was one of them. I had parents, I had mother and father. And I think I didn't know whether my having a mother and a father required those children when they were put out there by their mother and father, and I had to be out there every year, all year, that school was being held. I just was out one year that when it was closed, I was at home. But when the school was open, had to be out there because I wouldn't go to school. I would do anything else except going to school. So I was out there for that reason. And one of the reasons that I was out there, from my perspective, is that it was 9 of us in my family. And I felt like that was not enough for everybody. So I felt like I can take care of myself by doing whatever I was doing that would satisfy myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't stay home very long.
I see.
And there's a story in this book that I told Marshelle about, that I was not allowed to bring anything that didn't belong home because my mother my mother wouldn't allow it. And there's a story in the book in reference to biting off her ear. And there's stories in there, a reference to that. So I never could bring anything home that didn't belong there. So whatever I had, I stayed out there with it. I did some things that caused me to not to be able to go back to the boys' home because I had been there before.
That was the boys' home on Jesse Street, right?
Yeah, that's the boys' home on Jesse Street.
Right here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So they didn't send me back there because I had just been there too many times.
Mm-hmm.
So what I ended up being assigned to go to the industrial school for boys in Marianna. They sent me to Marianna. I didn't know very much about any place other than Jacksonville because I had never been out of Jacksonville, but I ended up in Marianna, which was quite a distance away from Jacksonville. They had 5 cottages up there, different boys in different sizes. Little boys in one cottage, middle-sized boys in another cottage, and other boys. You was in a cottage according to size.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they assigned the boys to the cottage because of the clothes that they wore. When I was assigned to work in what was the sewing room. Sewing room made the clothes for old boys, mend the clothes for old boys, and distribute the clothes for old boys. I was assigned to the sewing room. That means I learned how to sew, how to tailor. The mend and prepare the clothes for the boys and put numbers and names in them for each boy and each cottage. And those was my duties at that particular time. they had a rating system up there where you start off, you enter the school as a pioneer. That's the first time being there, and a first time person, you was a pioneer. I mean, an explorer.
Explorer, okay.
Was an explorer, and you can't. That's your first time there. If you went there a second time, from out, from the streets to there, for a second time, you wasn't an explorer no more. You just an explorer because you were there the first time. So the next time that you were there, which I went there another time, you're not an explorer, you're a grub, but you're still on the bottom. You're still at the beginning, but you so. And I went there the second time. After I did not know that I went there twice. Tell you, I did not know that.
Yeah, so we did get your records, and I think you was there when you were at 12, and then again at 16.
Yeah, but when I was there at 12, at that young, I was a house boy. I was some of the supervisors, the man who ran the dairy, and his family lived there in a home on campus, where I was assigned, and the wife ran the sewing room. Ran the sewing room. I worked in the sewing room as a person that mend the clothes, fix the clothes, and she was in her house. I had to go to her house and clean up the yard, and in the house, wash the dishes, wear the clothing. That was the first time. And I was the house boy.
As the first time when you were 12.
When I was 12. Yeah. So, but she had two children. She had a boy that was junior. He was Charles Humphrey Jr. And he was a boy, and he had a daughter. And originally they were from Jacksonville, and I became their houseboy. And her daughter name was I don't forgot her name, but it was one girl. And he would go to town, gym and everything, then I'd have to rub his back with alcohol.
The father or the son?
The son. The son. And take care of the house. And while I'm sewing, my assignment was the sewing room.
So your assignment was the sewing room, but you also assigned to go to the sewing room's instructor's house to do work for him.
Work for the family.
Work for the family.
Work for the family. And that's what. And I went to the White House while working for that family. I know I went there at that time for something that had something to do with the house. And then you get 3 consecutive weeks of low performance. And I got a low performance, I know, when I was at the house for 3 consecutive weeks, because they sent me there for 6 months of good behavior. So they didn't allow you to do 3 straight weeks of good demerit. So on that 3rd week, you went to the White House, regardless of what you did to get a demerit there, you got a spanking for that week.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So that was, I know when I was at the house, I was in the sewing room and the house, I went there. Then that's prior to my leaving there, and I mean, getting. I know I went for that.
That was at age when you were younger, the first time.
Right.
Okay.
One of them had something to do, didn't wash the dishes, or didn't even want to do. I mean, didn't clean it, didn't something that had to do with that.
Right. Okay.
So, and you can walk over a piece of paper and somebody say, "Didn't you see that paper?" And you didn't pick it up. They say you didn't see it, or they didn't see you do that, so you accept what they said. So you probably would not get a demerit for walking over that piece of paper. So you usually agree. Hopefully you'll be on the side of what they thought you did. So you won't go. And for you can get they give you demerits by a good demerit. I mean, good merit is 3. 3. Every authorized instructor had a pad in his pocket called a low grade pad, and you just put your name on there and put a demerit there, 2, 1, or 0. Each one of those demerits would give you a certain amount of licks
When you got to the White House.
When you got to the White House.
And the White House was the place of punishment. Yeah.
Right. So I know I went there twice.
At age 12, when you were the first time.
Yeah, first time because of the circumstance in which I did it. And you just can't imagine what that spanking. I mean, a 2 will give you 5 licks. A 1 will give you more than 5, which is maybe you're gonna get more than 5. But a 0 will give you an unsurmountable lick. Mostly a 0 will give you is for lying, cheating, or stealing. Lying, cheat, or stealing.
Right.
Wow.
And smoking is 0. That's a 0.
That's a 0.
That's 0. I didn't go for. I don't know whether I know I got over one time was a 2. I mean a 1. That's out of bounds. You supposed to be here and you ain't here. You over there. That's a 1. A 2 could be just walking over some paper.
Okay.
A 0 was either lying, cheating, or stealing. So I know I went for more than just a 2 one time because I hardly make it. So I wrote in the book what I did at one time there. I lied, cheated, and stole.
Wow.
Now, and I went to the White House for that. It's all in the book. It's in there. I was undeniable had done it because I shared what I'd done with the brother of a boy that was in charge of what I had lied, cheated, and stole. He got responsible for it. And I hadn't shared what I lied, cheated, and stole with his brother. His brother was in my cottage. My cottage, and him and I ain't know what his brother did over in the little end.
Right.
But
so you want to share that story? That was a good story. We did put it in the book, but that was
we put it, put it.
Isaac.
Isaiah Seymour and Ray Seymour. Ray Seymour was my buddy. was my buddy, and his brother was in the little end where I did thing and brought it, and I shared what I had did with his brother, and this was about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then 12 o'clock we got to go to lunch. I had shared him before 12 o'clock, and we went over there. When we got to the noontime, you work every day, and you go to school every day. But you either on an even day you work, and the odd day you go to school. So this day we both were working, but he worked towards the dairy, and I worked in the sewing room. And in my work, I had to go do some of them things, call some clothes over there at that little cottage, and I had nobody's on the campus unless in these areas unless you have a reason for them. Because I had a reason to go over to that other cottage over there.
Because you were in the sewing room,
returning clothes.
Taking clothes to the cottage.
To the cottage.
Right.
And I did something over there, and shared it with him, his brother, when I got back over there. So by lunchtime, which is the same lunchtime, they done accused that brother, the younger brother, of doing what I had done. And now my buddy, it's his brother, he can't cover it up because you're going to go, that's 3 zeros. If he stole something, hid something, and Smokes was involved, you got 3 zeros. And he would not cover that. He wouldn't even cover it if his brother chose.
It's back. And we start with him telling the story about Ray and his friend. The last names were Seymour. They were 2 brothers. And that they were, and that's where you stopped telling that particular story. And then you mentioned that he had gotten a 0, which meaning that he had lied, still, and was cheated and probably smoking too. All of that was a 0. That's what you told us.
Each one of them was 0. Each one of them was 0. So they swapped. But see, in the noontime, they had dinner. Everybody was at the dining room. The instructors, everybody, boys in the dining room. So they took me. Didn't let me. I don't know whether they ate or not. But anyway, they took me from the front of the dining room to the White House. And I don't know how I came back from the White House because I ended up in the hospital anyway. And
do you know how many?
I did not know whether they gave me enough for all of them zeros, or I got enough for 2 zeros for, So, but anyway, I was so afraid to go back there again.
So, but the thing is, so at the White House, when you got to the White House, I know, and one of the things I know we talked about that is, it still hurts. But can you tell us a little bit about what happened in the White House, if you feel like sharing that?
Oh yeah.
So,
I'd say
what happened?
What they call spankings.
Yeah, that's what we want to know about.
They call spanking. They beat you with a leather scrap, with weight on one end, handle another, or they beat you with a board, and you lay across this mattress, fold in half toward the head of the bed, and you would hold the rail of the head of the bed with your butt on the fold of the mattress. And you have to not move. You can't holler, you can't scream, you can't do anything because the superintendent, which was Dozier, counts that lick to whether it counted or not. And the man that is doing the hitting didn't care whether it did or not because he had to look at him and see whether it counted. And whether it counted or not was the fact that either you screamed, you jumped up, or you moved, or you turned over, anything other than just holding the head of that bed.
And it don't count if you move.
And if it don't count if you move.
Or yeah.
Or anything. So what they did, every lick that it's kind of like it's kind of like lightning, it shock you all over, and you can't help. And this when you go, you're gonna get 5 of them licks that will count. You can get 8 licks, and then the 5 count to complete that amount you went over there to get. But every one of them hit your bottom or your back or your thumb. So I don't know how many licks I got. I went to the hospital. I went to the hospital. I couldn't nobody tell me whether I got all of them, each one of them zeros. No. So I couldn't go back. I just couldn't. Now, being fearful of ever going back to the White House, there were some systems amongst the boys or amongst everybody. It's better to go to the hospital ahead of time when you got 2 bad weeks. And your 3rd week coming, you got to go to the hospital. So the only way you can get a demerit that you in the hospital and the doctor comes on Wednesday and you done got in there on Sunday night with a fever or with a persistent pain at a certain spot.
So you have to
get committed in the hospital for that particular hurt. So you be there Wednesday when the doctor coming in. The doctor's name was Dykes, Dr. Dykes, and he was German or whatever. He comes on every Wednesday. If you had a fever on Sunday, you ain't got one now. He said, well, you did right by holding him here. But you done made a week now. So you ain't got no demerit for that week.
Oh, so you can get out of demerits by getting into the hospital.
So
you won't have to worry about your behavior.
That week, because you can't get no 3 consecutive weeks.
Gotcha.
And we had a method that either you can get in the hospital by having a persistent pain, you can't move, you just got to be right there all the time. Or you can get somebody to put some red stuff over your mouth real wide and drop, it was methylate, I think it was. Yeah, methylate. On the back of you can't get it on your tongue. You got to get it on that thing back in your back of your tongue. So that the boy looked down and he sees red only there. He'll think you got strep throat and he'll keep you there until the doctor come on.
Keep you in the hospital.
Keep you in the hospital on Wednesday.
Okay.
So now, if they did that, you'd have made that week because you get no demerit that week. But you can't get 3 consecutive weeks
of
demerit. So that's the way that works. or you can, one thing, you can put a bar of soap up under your arm, a bar of soap up on your wet, and you walk, and before you go to the hospital, and when you get to the hospital, you got a fever.
The soap will give you a fever?
Soap would give you a fever. A bar of soap under your arm, it'll give you a fever. And that, see, you know, who ran the hospital was a boy named Frank Timmons. He was from Jacksonville.
Frank Timmons.
He was the assistant. He was the doctor. He was the doctor when
he was a black guy.
Yeah. I knew I had known him from the boys' home here in Jacksonville when I got there. But
when he got assigned to the hospital.
He got assigned to the hospital, boy. The boy that you relieve, boy that going home have to teach the boy that relieving him his job. A boy that I went to the kitchen. The boy that was leaving had to teach me how to cook and complain about my not knowing how to cook so he can leave.
One boy trained the other boy.
Trained up. Right. He trained him so he could.
But Timmons was the one in the hospital, assigned to the hospital, and he was from Jacksonville.
Yeah, he was from Jacksonville. Oh, he can't help it. But you got to bamboozle him because they were smart. Them people were smart.
So you were
if you're able to get past him to hold you until Wednesday, whether you were good or bad, he had a policy to hold you. And when you passed, you done got past the White House, going to the White House that week, and you got safe for that week.
Because you had got admitted to the hospital.
You had got admitted to the hospital. So when I left, I got past them zeros and I ended up in the hospital, I must have stayed in there a couple of weeks. I mean, I had some good grades, but my record was that I can have 2 straight weeks, and then 3 demerit weeks, and on the 3rd week I didn't never have 3 straights, but I was there a long time trying to get 6 months of good behavior.
Look at you.
Go ahead
and talk. Dad.
6 of good behavior. So, but that means that I couldn't go back there after I didn't know whether I got all them zeros complete, because you went back. They give you what they owed you
from
the time you went and didn't get them. Whether you got them or not.
Wow.
So I couldn't go back.
Right.
I couldn't go back. So that's what I was telling you. I told you in that story where it was so important for me not to ever go back to the White House that I had to figure a way
to get in the hospital.
And I done did all those other ways. Right. I had soap and methylate on the drop back in my tongue, and pain. You have the pain is on your lower side. You can't come from that side over here. No, Frank don't take that, But I couldn't go back to the White House. So I had to develop another way to get in the hospital. The other way that you get in the hospital, if you break a leg or you hurt you get hit in the head, some bleeding, some blood, they'll either carry you uptown or he set it. Right. He set it, and then they had to get something done to it on Wednesday. So you had to get in the hospital.
So the reason you were so desperate not to go to the hospital, not to go to the White House again, is because your experience, you had already been there and you knew what happened when you go to the White House, but also you had zeros at this point. And yeah.
I didn't know
And you,
I did
so
not.
did people go to the White House and not return?
Oh yeah, that you got people that didn't. Yeah.
Or what happened with that? So why were you so desperate not to go to the White House?
Because the reason I was blessed to go when everybody know that I went at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I had to come back. They had to bring me back.
So people knew you were going, so
everybody, the whole campus knew what I had done because somebody else was accused of doing it. And we resolved it right there in front of everybody in the dining room, and they took me from the table and took that boy back to the table, and I went on to the White House. Now everybody in the whole campus knew it.
You were going to the White House.
Going to the White House. That's why I had to come back.
People knew you were going.
They knew I was going. Knew I had that was happening.
So had they not known you were going,
I would not have came back. They know when you go over there unbeknown you going on a Friday when they gonna spank boys for all that had, they take over about 8 or 10 of you that got to go to the White House. You get on the van, and the van, they take you over there, they spank you and bring you back, spank you and bring you back. Because if you got a 2, then that's the group of, or if you ran away and nobody know where you went or know how you got away, the system up there was this. If the system knew that you done something that they did not want any boy to do again, you didn't get away with it. And you weren't able to talk about it because you wouldn't show up no more. You wouldn't show up no more. You either ran away or you got away or something happened to where they didn't have to explain that to you no more. And to anyone. I was in that category. But I went at 12 o'clock in the afternoon with everybody. Whatever level you was, you knew I went.
So they had to bring you back because everyone knew you had gone.
And I had went in the hospital. Now I don't know what I had left or what I had, so I couldn't go back. So what I did, knowing that I couldn't go back and I had a bad week. I had an assignment week. You get grades from the school and a grade from the cottage, and you'll get a grade from the office. Whatever your demerit is, you're going to get a demerit from the office. That means that's the demerit you're going to have on your record. So I had a 2. I know I was behind on assignments, school assignments, and I may have some from work. But your demerits only come from not being good at it, being not up on it. It just, you got it. It could be a little thing, could be a big thing. But I was behind on assignments. You get workbooks, you get a work assignment, and you have to do so many assignments per week. I know I couldn't catch up that because I was too far behind on assignments. School, yeah, class assignments. And I was taking stuff I didn't even know what I was taking, but I was handling it pretty good. But since I was behind, I know I couldn't catch up. So now I got to get in the hospital.
That means you got demerit.
You have to find a way to get in the hospital.
So now I got to get in the hospital. So that if you break a leg or you get hit in the head or something like that, they'll accept you in the hospital, and then you can get clear that week. And I might be able to catch up with an assignment or whatever I did. So what it did, we had a dormitory. We have a dormitory.
Mm-hmm.
All the boys sleep on the second floor.
Okay.
All the boys has rows of bed. It was about 90 boys in each cottage. And 90 boys in each cottage. And they had a chute. They had a fire escape at the end of the hall by the bathroom. A fire escape,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in a tunnel, but it was a circle around tower where you hit and it go round and round, and then your feet hit the plate that would kick the door open.
Okay.
Mhm.
At the bottom of the thing, but it turned 3 times around there before it get there to hit that.
Mhm.
So, but they locked that kick plate in their kick door, so it won't come open at night. The night watchman comes up when we done went up and went to bed up there. He come out and he put a lock on the outside of that thing to lock the door where it can't come open at night.
Oh my God.
Escape.
Huh?
To prevent escape. So
Yeah.
why did he lock it at night?
He lock it at night because you can't use that fire escape to get out.
Oh.
Mhm.
He did that at 10 o'clock every night, he was the night watchman, and his name was Capshaw. You know,
Capture.
yeah, he had one arm too. Yeah, he locked the fire escape. He go to every cottage and lock the fire escape. Now every morning, because he come around and wake up the bugle boy. Wake up the bugle boy. He come around every morning and get the bugle boy to go blow the bugle. I was a bugle boy at one time. He used to come and get me to blow the bugle, go to the flagpole and blow the bugle for getting up in the morning. So he wouldn't come to get me that. But anyway, he come by and unlock those things every morning. Every morning. So I knew that the fire escape was locked because that was one of the places where they call you be playing there, mess around in there during the daytime, because you can go up there and jump down there, come on and kick some of you. You can go through the cotton and jump down there. But at night, that's locked. Now, I know good and well that thing was locked. But I know that the night watchman will unlock it in the morning.
Okay.
So now I got to break something. I ain't trying to kill myself. I'm just trying to do something where I can get in the hospital. And I watch it, look from the dormitory, watch him come around the building going around to the back, and I jump down in the fire escape.
In the fire escape.
I jumped down in the fire escape, knowing that I was gonna do something, and it broke my ankle, my leg, but he was coming around and he was right there to unlock it because of the noise that was in the thing. I told him I was trying to beat somebody from, rather than going down the steps, I was going to jump down the fire escape, and I forgot that it was locked. I know he used to come and get me to wake me up, come in and
knew his route.
Yeah. So I jumped down in there, and then I was hollering, and then they took me on to the hospital. I stayed there. I stayed on them crutches and on them things for long enough for me to get enough time, about time for me to go home, because all them on crutches, and I couldn't do nothing and couldn't be ugly and all that. And I left him up there. I mean, I don't know. That's the only reason I got up from up there.
Jump down the fire.
No, well,
Broke
cause
your own leg, was able to
my foot,
your foot.
yeah, and I had crutches. You know, I told you I sent your mom, pictures of me. I told her you couldn't tell nobody. I played football, something other. But anyway.
You told everybody you got hurt playing football.
Anything but that. They know but I don't care what I told them. I got in the hospital for a good reason.
For a good reason.
But I didn't know what why I put it in there and it still hurt is because why it still hurt is because I don't know whether he gave me all my licks for each one of them zeros, and I went back. I'm gonna get some of them other ones that I did miss. I couldn't go back.
I understand.
I couldn't go back.
Couldn't go back to the right.
Couldn't go back. I'd rather die for it, because you can't act like for them 5, you trying to get 5 licks and you get 12 for trying to get 5, because all 12 of them hit you, I couldn't, and I was supposed to, for a zero, you're gonna get, your count is over 10 for a zero.
Right.
And I know I don't know what I got. Ain't nobody told me, so anyway, I couldn't go back. But anyway,
Got out of there.
I ended up getting back home. But I tell you, I try. You forget if you talk about running away, you talk about what they do up there. You talk about it to anybody or anything or to your buddy. You get for talking about some kind of condition they have up there that they didn't want you to talk about. That was against the rules and regulations. You didn't even talk about it to each other. You had to write home a letter every 2 or 3 weeks or something. They make you write a letter home, and they read the letters before you go, and they don't put no stamp on it. You don't put no stamp. They send that letter to you. And most things you say, send me something. I know, send me something. We wear gowns up there at bed, just gowns. And I told I told somebody that I didn't like to wear no gowns. And my parents sent me a pair of pajamas, unmade, because they were going to make me some. But I told them I couldn't make them in some. I didn't know I couldn't make them, and I could make them because I knew how to make them. They sent me some material and already cut out and stuff. And then I got the material and stuff and made me a pair of pajamas. But I couldn't wear them in the dormitory because that would give me access to some clothes that was supposed to be down there in my locker. The pajamas couldn't come up there where you have on gowns. I could never wear them up.
So tell me about the letter. I know you said that you were able to write home, but I think you said there was 3 things or 2 that you could put in that letter. I forgot what those were.
No, what you can put in the letter is you couldn't put your condition. No, you can only say everything was fine, and you have to say you were okay. Anything other than that, you could not put that in your letter home, because your letters go through the office unopened and folded, and you have to just put your name at where you send it on the envelope, and they put that on. They send it. You could not tell, and nobody know exactly. If they wasn't hearing from you, they can try to call up there and try to find out. And authorities will tell you what they wanted to tell you. You know. So, but and anyway, all them names, all them people, and I ain't ever mentioned nothing about. I ain't mentioned because it wasn't nothing right. I can't explain. I couldn't explain that to you. I couldn't explain. My family did not know that I was abused. The abuse that I went through, because I ain't never told nobody. But I put everything of my life that I acquired from being up there. I did I took mechanical drawings up there. I ain't even know what that was. In Marianna. We built rock. We built model airplane. And I was I had so I can whatever I learned how to do. The basis of that was done by force by another boy. You don't have to do it before I do.
Before he could go home.
Before he can go home.
He forced you to learn it.
Got it. Whether I like it or not, and if I didn't like it, he can't go home and he got to tell on you. So the supervisor was not there but with a pad in their pocket to just know whether you presence, empathy, and your conduct. They didn't teach you a cotton picking thing. They don't have to teach you how to farm or how to catch cows and how to. The man I worked for when I was there before, he was a dairy. He ran the dairy. Ray Seymour was run the milking machine in the dairy, and he just had to be there and run that milking machine. But I don't know whether the man was a dairy people, no, but he was there running that, and his wife was in the sewing room, and they had a house in the middle, and I worked for cleaning the house and stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
So you did mechanical drawing, you did sewing, you did
cooking. I cannot cook.
Yeah, you cook.
No, I know, and better than most people. I can.
And so the skills that you did learn there, were forced to learn, and was taught by all the boys, helped you once you got out.
That's right, and they didn't. That system had nothing to do with me, other than as a boy.
It was the boys there, forced to teach you all.
Yeah. So why am I going to mention that?
So when you get out,
yeah, I don't see.
When you get out,
I am.
Family.
I didn't even have no family. I just had a girlfriend. Your mom, girlfriend that knew I was there. Cause I was. She said that, and your mom would tell you all the time that I always wanted a high risk boy. And I did not know that there's any boy I knew was any higher risk than me. I lied, cheat, stole until I went to Marianna. When I came back from Marianna, still, they didn't do nothing to me but just let me get out. Oh, come, yeah. So what do I owe them for credit for doing nothing? It could have killed me, would have killed me, or I'd have died right there if I hadn't tried to kill me. I wasn't trying to kill me. I wasn't trying to kill me. I was just trying to get in the hospital. And if I wasn't in there, see, they sent you up there for 6 months of good behavior. So I was there almost 2 years trying to make 6 months of good behavior. Well, every other week was no good. But I was still there, working, cooking, running a boiler, the steam pot. The steam system for the boiler. When I went to Miami, I started them a boiler down there because the man was paying me for what I knew. That I learned that in Marianna.
When you went to Boston, I remember you were talking about how you were working on the job and they sent you to get some certifications at MIT.
Yeah. But that's because what I knew did not have anything to do with what they could help you do, because if they wanted you to do something on their job, they had to have some reason for them trying to use you to help them, and the government will pay them for helping them to get somebody to help what they were doing. They'll send you, your company will send you to school to assist with what you know that would help them. But if you had to have some reason, I had mechanical drawings. I could draw. I mean, I could scope out a layout, like, and know the signs and signals of mechanical maintenance. And I did what they needed to have done without them doing it ahead of me doing it. And then we come back and sign it. I said, who did it? Why y'all didn't finish? He said, well, y'all didn't do that. So that guy, I did it. Took their prints, to their blueprints. It's laying out like that. And I thought, I hadn't seen that before. I hadn't seen that since I was either 12 or 13 or something like that. But I was 20 then, And the guy said, well, I'm going to try to, I was just going to work for them on the Saturday.
Right.
On the weekend. And then by my having a little knowledge that they know that I ain't telling them how I get it, how I got it, or where I got it. Wasn't no one need to tell me. I just tell them I can do that.
Still didn't tell them.
I wasn't going to give credit. Right. I didn't know what I had.
Want to talk about it. Okay.
Well, I can sew. I made all of my.
So they found out that you knew
what I knew.
And they sent you.
I didn't even know what MIT. I know I did. Send you to school, send you to other training.
Right.
Send you other training. So fine. But they gonna pay me 2 hours for going. 4 hours. I went in the evening. Just like in that back there when they in the 60s, they said that you wasn't supposed to go to white school, but you can go at night. I ain't even had to pay for day or night or morning, because I got 2 hours for travel going and 2 hours for coming back to work for the company that paid for my going, assist me for going. Yeah. And I became, but when I left, I was a qualified, certified person to do my job as a mechanical maintenance assistant engineer. Assist. In Boston, I wasn't that but assistant, because they ain't never getting no thing. I come here.
The qualifications at MIT, the certifications.
Yeah. I became whatever. I was up there as an assistant. As an assistant. But when I came back home, I qualified at every company that I went to. Yeah. Every company that I went to pass the exams that they had for mechanical maintenance. 5 places I went. Everyone, yeah. But I never did, and I never did give credit to Marianna for having anything to do with it, because they didn't. I just did that. Huh?
The boys taught
you. Yeah. So and there wasn't nothing to talk about. Wasn't no need. Me, my child. You don't know nothing about it, because you just got a daddy that works all the time.
Exactly.
That's all you had.
All the time.
Every time. Yeah. Everybody got everything except me until I got mine. After y'all got yours. That's you. What do you want? What do you want me to talk about? and I'm here. I'm 60. I'm 80 years and good and as good a condition as I feel like I could be because I taught you right. What did I ask you? Every time when I asked everyone, what you want to be? What did you tell me you want to be? No, why you don't? No, why you don't know? You don't know because I sent you to a friend of mine up there, and she was a librarian. You didn't even know what books were. You came home with her. You came home with. She was a world book encyclopedia person, and I sent you to her. And you don't even. I ain't trying to brag about that. Ain't nothing to brag about. I did it.
Yeah. So I had a great childhood. So I don't have any complaints. Dad was a great father.
But
so
every one of you, cause up there in Boston, people ask you all the time, what you want to be? I didn't want to be nothing, and I didn't think I was gonna be nothing, cause I was. But one thing they excited you to be, other than ordinary, be something. Be something.
Well, thank you, Dad.
Yeah,
this has been great.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead if you want.
No, I ain't nothing. I don't know. No.
So we end up with
some minutes.
No, we're good. I think with some good information. Some real good information.
I wanted to ask them what were your parents' name? What was your mother and father's name?
My mother was Lovey Smith.
Lovey Smith.
Lovey.
Lovey Smith.
Yeah, and my father's name was Johnny Smith.
Johnny Smith. Okay. And were your parents from Jacksonville?
No, they was from Georgia.
From Georgia. Where in Georgia?
I don't know, some of that Paris. Oh,
Paris, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that there were 9 children. You had sisters and brothers?
Oh, yeah, a whole bunch of, yeah.
Can you name your sisters and brothers?
Yeah, Johnny.
Johnny?
That's the oldest boy, Johnny. Willie.
Okay.
Evelyn.
Okay, that's the girl.
Yeah. Edward.
Okay.
Me.
All right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm down to 5. Okay, what's the 6th?
Etta May.
Ella May.
Etta.
ETTA.
ETTA. May. Okay, that's 6.
Lorenzo. Annette.
Her name is Annette. Her real name is Annette.
Annette. Okay, 7.
And Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn. Okay, that's 8.
So did you put Robert? That's Dad. And all of them last name is Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back. You had Johnny, who was the oldest, Willie, Evelyn, Edward, Robert, Etta May, Annette, and Gwendolyn.
Yes.
Okay, we got them all 8?
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, that's it. That's all of them. That's it.
Okay. All right, we have 8, and we got the parents' name. And where did your family live in Jacksonville? What was your address, or where did you live in Jacksonville?
821 Oakley Street, East Side.
820?
821. Oakley Street.
Oakley Street in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Okay. And then the school that you attended when you were in elementary school?
Oakland
Elementary.
Yeah.
In Jacksonville. Okay. And let's see, let me go back a little bit here. Oakland Elementary School. Okay. And let's see, I got Paris down here. Hold on just a moment. Let's see if there's anything else we have to have. What did you enjoy most about going to school? Was there anything you enjoyed going to the elementary school?
No.
No? Okay, because in elementary school, after elementary school, you started getting in trouble, right?
I went to Gilbert too, but I didn't graduate Oakland or Gilbert.
Okay, you went to Gilbert. That's the middle school?
Yes. That's
Okay,
a high school.
It was a high school.
It was a high school.
Okay, Gilbert High School in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That was after you returned from Marianna.
Yeah.
Okay, that was after you came back from Marianna.
Yeah.
Okay, the other question in regards to Marianna, did you ever did they have anywhere that they buried the boys that got killed up there?
Yeah.
They had a graveyard or anything like that? What happened?
They buried them. It was about 60 boys up there. They found the grave. Yeah, and I had helped clean off them places, honey. No, yeah, y'all think y'all know all that, didn't you?
Oh no,
Okay.
go ahead and say whatever you need to say.
No, they buried them.
Okay, and the other thing, they had white and black. Did you all mix?
No. Oh, you didn't know that? No, they didn't mix. They was one on one side of the highway, and we was on the other side of the highway. And they buried white boys on the black side and the black boys on the black side. So there wasn't no black boys buried on the white side.
So they buried the white boys on the black side too?
Sure.
So that all the burial was on the black side?
Yes, you got it.
Now, did they bury the white boys up front, or did they bury the?
No. They buried, just put them in a hole, and they scattered all over the cemetery, all over where they buried people at. They buried them. Didn't it just wherever was, they can dig a hole and bury them.
Did they ever? How did they let the families know?
They did. There was some of them they let know, but some of them they allowed people to know.
Like you said, some of them ran away. I heard you say that they would say some of them ran away.
And they buried them.
And they just went ahead and buried them. That was the end of it.
That's it.
That was the end of it. Curious, the hat that you have on, did you make your clothing?
No, my daughter made this because I could sew. I could have made it.
I know you could.
My daughter made it.
And the necklace that you have on, it looks like it has
a scorpion.
You have a scorpion. Okay. Why do you wear a scorpion?
I have no. I think I had I bought it for a friend, a lady friend, and I think it was in November, and I didn't give it to him.
And so you just put it on today?
No, I've been had it for 2-3 years.
Okay.
I know I didn't buy it for me because my birthday is in June.
That's what.
But I bought it for her birthday.
It probably is in like this November, somewhere along there.
Yeah.
Okay. What religion are you professing?
I'm gonna just tell you like when you practice a religion, you practice what your religion teach you to practice, and you assist in that. I don't assist in. I don't sing. I'm not in a choir. I don't usher. I can't do any of them things. So I know the principle of most all of your religions, but I do not practice in either one of them by assisting in it. When you assist, you could. My influence is Islam.
That's what I thought. I didn't know.
Well, honey, I'm not practicing. What I'm saying is that when you ask somebody where she's the Methodist. They don't even go. They don't help them. They don't do nothing. They don't assist them in doing what Methodists are supposed to do. Why are you going to say you anything that you're not helping to do it?
I agree.
Well, I'm just telling you, I practice what I preach. I practice that I am a responsible, dependable, honest person for my family. That's all I am.
And that's what he taught us.
That's what you should be.
Responsible, reliable, dependable.
You
heard it all my life.
You understand? And I can't. You okay. Listen.
No, I got it. I kind of thought it from your name, but I didn't. I just wanted to find out.
I know you did. You think I was going to deny it? You thought I was going to deny it?
You don't. No.
I wasn't going, because that's what got me. That's what got me where I am, what I am, and the respect that I have.
And I was listening. Yes.
The respect that I have, because okay, honey.
I respect that. Yes. No. I picked up exactly what I thought it was, and you verified it.
Well, that's see, in the book, my daughter said something in this book. She said, "You cannot talk to my daddy unless you sit yourself down and let him explain it." You know, they call what's parable. I don't want to hear your parable. Just tell me no. But if you don't want to hear my parable, it gonna always just be no.
I got you.
Because I can change no if you hear the parable, but you don't want to hear. And that, honey.
Speaking parables a lot. That's what
I need to ask, when did you go into the Muslim? Because when you were up in Marianna, you really had to have some knowledge to understand how to save yourself.
I didn't know. No, I had. Let me say this. In the scripture, it tells that no man can serve two masters.
Amen.
I was serving one master when I was up there. One. Mm-hmm. And I was serving one when I left there. Mm-hmm. After I left there, I found out that you cannot serve that master and make it.
All right.
That's wrong. Mm-hmm. So when I jumped the fence, when I considered right, I taught my children, I taught myself right before they was even born. Mm-hmm. And I ain't been none of nothing since then.
You're a whole lot of many good things. No, I like this. So now, because
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to.
No, you don't have to. Okay. You don't have to. I understand.
They didn't even know. They didn't know that whatever they didn't know.
Well, the other thing that too, when you started talking about the foods and how well you could cook and how you could take care of yourself, all that ties right into the Muslim faith and being able to take care of yourself and your family.
I wasn't a Muslim then.
But you weren't. That's what I'm saying. So you became a Muslim about what age or what time span?
19 or 20.
Okay, 19 or 20. When at 20, you were still up there in Marianna, right?
No.
No, he was out by then. I think in Marianna. He was in Marianna. He went in when he was 16. And that was in 1951, and he was released in 53.
Yeah, I was in Boston. So
you were in Boston.
So he was about 18. He was about 19. No. 18, 19 when you got out of Marianna, right?
I was in Boston. No.
16, 17. Well.
No, I left Marianna in 57 when they killed that boy up there in 53. I was in Boston. 53.
Right. Do you remember them killing the boy up there?
Yeah, I remember the boy that got killed. What
was his name? You remember? My dad has a great memory.
I don't know. I know his condition because he was in my cottage and he was swole up on the side. And then when I think they buried him. They buried him when I was there, because it's a boy that was from Jacksonville. He told me when he got back, I asked him about what happened to that boy, and he said they buried him. He said we buried him up there in Boot Hill, about that. I can't think of the boy name. In 53.
This is the boy you told me that had run away a couple times.
Yeah, had to run.
When he reappeared, he had a swollen side. Is that what you said?
No, he ran, and then they beat him, and they put him back in the system, and then he ran again. And they kicked, and that the boy that was friendly here asked him what happened. He said they bust some of the in him, but and they took him uptown, and he died. And he died. They buried him right there on the thing because he helped them bury him. And the boy that helped him bury him, name was Walt Fowler.
What was his name again?
Walt Fowler.
That was his last name.
Yeah, but Walt. That was the boy that
helped bury
and put him in. Yeah, and he was from Jacksonville. But he died. Walt Fowler was dead because he was going to the senior citizen with me when he was talking about.
Okay.
But Dad
knows. He remember a lot of the boys' names, which I'm kind of impressed because I looked for him. As a matter of fact, I actually reached out to the Seymour's family. Isaac and Ray Seymour's are the two brothers that were in there with Dad, and I reached out to his family to see if they were still around. And both of those brothers are deceased, but I had a chance to connect with his daughter, Diane. Yeah. Diane Seymour. I forgot where she lives because we communicate by text now. But Diane did not know her father had served in Marianna until I reached out to her, and then her mom says yes, he did talk about it some, but not that often. And she remembered her husband taking her by Marianna and said, "Hey, I spent some time in this facility here," and that was all he said. He didn't say anything about it.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting.
Is there anything that you would like to say for history? Anything you want the world to know? Anything that you would like for people to remember, the future generations?
The conditions that existed up there, I don't think there's anywhere else in America could match that condition. Or I thank God for being able to survive it.
Yes.
And it defied a whole lot. It didn't straighten me out. I straightened out later. But everyone that thing touched, destroyed. Everyone. And I don't know what they're going to do about it. I don't care what they're going to do about it. I'm okay. I am okay. But it destroyed every one of them persons that was sent there.
I believe so.
For the worse. Yeah. And they ain't talking about it because when somebody it says you train up a child in the way it should go and it will not depart from it. They trained me not to talk about that stuff. I didn't talk about it. I was afraid. I don't know why I was afraid or hate everything that came in my way. That's why in this book, she said, I said, where you get that name from? She said, you said it all the time. I said, what? It said, it still hurt.
It will always.
Huh?
I said it would always hurt.
Always hurt. It said, it still hurt. I ain't forgot. I'm 85 now. Do you mean to tell me it's still hurting? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I can relate to that.
When, and if somebody decide to hurt themselves, whether to be hurt by somebody, and he chose to do what I did, you don't think that's something to think about?
It's a lot.
Every time that it's like every time when that scrap hits you, it's like a lightning hits something. You know, it shakes you to pieces. You either go in or go out. You know, I don't know whether I went in or went out, but I know it didn't have no count.
But you survived. You survived and raised a family, and that's the beautiful part of it. And I think by being in that Muslim atmosphere, that's what helped you.
Well, I wasn't in nothing when I was in that.
Oh, I know you weren't then, but you came upon that later on. Once you got your life organized and your family and all of that, you had to have something to hold on to, because you probably were having nightmares and everything else.
Everything. Hey, I got children. I got children.
Yeah, end up with 5 kids.
I got 5 children. All of them. My daughter used to say, and I didn't know what she meant by it. She told me, she said, you know, everybody think that I got a atomic family.
No, a nuclear family.
Yeah, well, something like that. I said, damn. See, I come. I know what I said. A nuclear bomb, you know, atomic bomb. I said some kind of family, because she came up in the society and system. I came out the streets. Honey.
Had great parents.
Yeah, well, I tried. Honey, okay, well.
Well, let me ask just one more question. I need to get the names of your children. I just have one. So could you give me your wife's name and your children? Because I have your family, your prior family, but your present family.
So
I got 3 living children and 2 past, and an ex-wife.
And an ex-wife.
I have a ex-wife.
Okay.
My mom, Alma Smith.
Alma, A-L-M-A?
Yes.
Is that a child or the wife?
That's the wife. That's the mother. That's their mother.
Okay, all right. And then the children's name?
And all of them are Smith.
Daria. All of them is Smith. Daria.
D-A-R-I-A?
R-R-I-A.
Okay, D-A-R-R-I-A, Daria.
Yeah.
And then what's
Johnny.
Okay. The third one?
Myrna.
M-U-R-N-A?
M-Y-R-N-A.
M-Y-R-N-A. Okay, Myrna.
And Marshelle.
And Michelle. Well, okay.
And Lee.
But I have 2 missing. That's Lee. He passed, and Robert passed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Robert was passed, but he was
He was next to Daria.
He was next to Daria. So okay, so we have Darian, Johnny, Mara, M-Y-R-N-A, Michelle, Lee passed, and Robert passed.
Right.
Okay, and then your ex-wife was Alma Smith.
Right.
Did you get that Daria passed?
No, Daria is here.
No,
the 2 pass I had was Lee and Robert.
Daria passed as well.
Daria
okay,
passed.
so there are 3 passed. Okay, Darian passed. Okay, thank you for sharing. So you have 3 living.
Yeah.
Me,
okay.
Myrna, and Johnny. Marshelle, Myrna, and Johnny are still here.
All right. Okay, we got it right.
find all that in the book too, so
Yeah,
you'll see it.
and my book will be coming pretty soon. I ordered it. It hasn't arrived yet. And the last thing I'll need is an address for you, and that's it. And that will be on the paperwork.
It is on the paperwork,
It's on the
228.
paper, so I don't need to have that from you. Okay. Well, I want to thank you today for taking your time to be interviewed and to share so much good history with us. We are going to share this with other people. We will make copies available to you and your family. The time right now is 1:37 p.m. and the day is September the 4th, which
Is
is,
it 12:37? Is it 12:37 or 1:37?
I'm sorry, 12:37, excuse me. Thank you. 12:37, September the 4th, which is a Friday afternoon. And we've done an interview in Jacksonville, Florida. And we've talked about many, many helpful issues that will help people in the future to understand what happened at the White House and what has happened with the family and how they have had to live through all these stresses. And the book was going to be wonderful. I don't have a copy to show, but Miss Berry, if you hold your copy up, we will put that on the screen. And tell us the title of it, if you would, and the cost.
Absolutely. The title is It Still Hurts, My Father's Painful Account of Survival at the Florida Industrial School for Boys, Marshelle Berry, and it's on Amazon for $11.75.
And it is a wonderful book. I should have my copy in the next day or so, and I will help to promote it for you. Thank you so much today for your time.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.